Assalamu alaikum YouTube, hope you guys are okay. Hope you guys have had a nice weekend, and this is it, Monday, back to the grind. So we're going to get started in a second. We're going to get started with episode 21 of the Arabic with Sam podcast. I'd just like to say specifically to you YouTube guys, thank you very much for being here. You guys are awesome. Thank you for subscribing to the channel, for being part of it. We've gone well past the milestone of 5,000 subscribers here on this channel, so I have you guys to thank for that. And so without further ado, we'll talk to everyone. We'll talk to the podcast lot as well. So let's get into it. So, Assalamu alaikum everybody. This is your Arabic teacher Sam, and a very warm welcome back to the Arabic with Sam podcast. Today, episode 29 of the podcast. Not 29, sorry, 21. Where did I get 29 from? It's not the 29th today, is it? The 21st, the 21st, the 21st episode of the Arabic with Sam podcast. It's going well on the podcast, isn't it? Alhamdulillah. You know, we've got some good numbers over on Spotify. Other people are taking part in it and stuff as well. Those of you who are listening anywhere, whether you're on YouTube or Spotify or whatever, connect with me somewhere else as well, please. Go over to Instagram or something, drop me a message, say, yo, Sam, I'm listening to the podcast. I love it, or it's terrible, I don't understand any of it, or whatever. So in this episode of the podcast, we're going to talk a little bit about prepositions. A brother actually contacted me on Instagram and DM'd me and told me that he was a bit confused about what prepositions to use with what verbs. And I thought, that deserves an episode of the podcast. So, so here we go for the brother. So I've got 15, and we're probably going to learn about 15 words. And they're prepositions. These are all, really, really useful Arabic verbs used all the time. And as we go, I'll just offer my commentary and stuff as well about how these verbs are used. And so without further ado, we'll look at the first one. So the first one is the verb ذهب. So in most languages, when you use the verb to go somewhere, even in English as well, like I can't just say I went his house. I say I went to his house. I can't say I went shop. I went to his shop, yeah? There are some languages where you don't need the word to in there, like Somali, for example, you don't need the word to in there. You can just use the verb tegait. You don't need like a preposition in there. But most languages you do, okay? And Arabic is the same. So with ذهب, look out for this, especially for beginners. If you're using ذهب, look out for إلى, yeah? If you use ذهب, just look out for your إلى, because that one kind of makes sense, but it's just one that a lot of the time students are kind of caught up in, especially beginners, are caught up in making sure that they've used their ذهب at the beginning of the sentence, if it's a verb sentence, thinking about having the right person and the right number of that verb, and sometimes students forget their إلى. So that's the first one. Second one is the verb ضحك. ضحك means to laugh at something, and in English we say we laugh at something, but in Arabic, this is the point this is the reason why I raised this one, is because in Arabic you say ضحك من, you laugh from something. Like if you're asking someone if they're laughing at you, أتضحك مني, are you laughing from me? You say ضحك من, and as it's ضحك in the present tense, it'll be يضحك. That's how you do the present tense, يضحك. أتضحك مني, are you laughing at me? The next one is another one which you wouldn't really be able to infer without knowing that this is the right preposition with it. So the verb فكر. فكر means to think something. Like in English, we think about something. This is to think as in to think about, not to think as in to believe something, or to think as in to kind of, I suppose, something. It's to think as in to be kind of thinking about something. And to think about something is فكر في. فكر في something. In Arabic, you think in something. فكرت في زوجتي كثيرا. I thought about my wife a lot, or whatever. فكرت في blah blah blah. I thought about something. And then in the present tense would be أفكر. I think. أفكر في أي شيء. About whatever, right? About anything. Next one, number 4, is a really useful one. I see this one in the GCSE Arabic exam all the time. Is the verb اهتم به. أنا أهتم به blah blah blah. Is to find something interesting. أنا أهتم. The term اهتمام is for interest. Not interest as in riba, as in like usury. Interest as in to be interested in something. And you use this verb اهتم. اهتم يهتم. To be interested in something. And you should use به with it as well. If you say, I'm interested in football, أنا أهتم بكرة القدم. Yeah, I'm interested in football, for example. The next two are kind of a pair. The next two, we have number 5 and number 6 in this list. We have they're both around the verb رغب. رغب. رغب را غين and ba. رغب عن is to dislike something, but رغب في is to want or to desire something. So we have the same verb, two different prepositions, which mean, it makes the verb mean the opposite thing, just using the different preposition, right? I remember mentioning this ages ago about, there was a debate a while ago on YouTube around an ayah in the Quran which talks about the angels doing salah upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and to do salli ala is very different to do salli li. To do salli li something, and a lot of people would try deliberately to be difficult about that and to not really understand it, but actually it's not complicated. Like in English we have that same principle of prepositions making things mean considerably different things. In English, the example that I gave in a video is when we have the verb to look, right? But to look after someone is very different than the meaning to look for someone. You look after your kids, but if you're looking for your kids, then you've done a bit of bad looking after of your kids, right? So anyways, prepositions are important with your verbs, and sometimes in Arabic it can even be the complete opposite meaning. Next one, this one will catch people out. Okay, this one I actually put on my Instagram story earlier, a little poll to see who would get this right. So the question was around the verb تكلم. We all learn the verb تكلم quite early. We should learn it because it's the way that we say أنا أتكلم الإنجليزية or لا أتكلم العربية. I don't speak Arabic, or I speak English or whatever. And the verb تكلم, we hear it in Aramiyya, and in modern Arabic it's used as تكلم عن, and that's what we'd expect. We'd expect to speak about. We'd expect تكلم عن, but and actually you will find that in the Hanswehr dictionary and stuff. But like that's more become something in standard Arabic because it's been used in Aramiyya so much. But actually it should be تكلم على. It's kind of the most fasih to have تكلم على, and عن should be used with تحدث. Really you should have تحدث عن and تكلم على, but quite often people do use تكلم عن and تكلم على both. And the poll that I put up on my Instagram was تكلم and then whether you use على or عن, and actually the answer in modern Arabic is both. The answer in probably classical Arabic is على alone. That's what I'd have thought anyway. The next one, it's actually the verb احتوى على, but I've written it down as تحتوي على because, and يحتوي على means to include something. يحتوي على blah blah blah. It's very, very common to have, this something includes something else. تحتوي على, to include something else. And you have to use على upon that as well. You have to use على with that verb. The next one, the verb اعتمد على. اعتمد means to rely on something. هذه الفكرة تعتمد على كذا وكذا. This idea depends upon something else. To rely on something. علمنا عن الإسلام يعتمد على أصحاب النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, for example. Like our knowledge of Islam depends on the companions of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم. To do اعتماد, اعتماد على something is to depend upon something, and you have to use على with that. The next one, if you watched last week's episode of the talk-through, the Arabic talk-through that I do on Tuesdays, if you went through that lesson that I made free for you guys last week, you'll have heard the verb أمسك به something. There's at the beginning of it, for those of you who didn't, it's a little cartoon in Arabic, and there's two boys sort of chasing each other. I think one of them's called Saleh, and the other one's called Bara. And it begins, one of the boys says, قد أمسكت بك. قد أمسكت بك يا صالح, or something like that. Like, I caught you, Saleh. Is it Saleh, the name? I think I remember the name Saleh, but it might not have been. The verb أمسك means to catch someone. And you should say به, yeah, with it you catch by someone in Arabic, yeah. قد أمسكت بك. I have caught you. Cool. Next one, the verb أشار. أشار يشير. Ashara is kind of the same pattern as arada. So we have arada yuridu. So we have ashara yushiru. It's the kind of to point towards something. a bit more than that, though. It's not just pointing towards something. It's like gesturing towards something, mate. It's not a verb specifically about the pointing. It's about kind of gesturing to something, and you use ila with that as well. From that as well, we have the word for sign language, lughatul ishara. You know, the language of ishara. Yeah, it's a sign language. Yeah, so you get it. You know, there's Arabic Sign Language, and on it, obviously, it differs from British Sign Language and International Sign Language and stuff as well. It's pretty crazy, really. My wife's best language is Sign Language. It's British Sign Language. She's not deaf, but she's hard of hearing, and she communicates with most of her friends in Sign Language, and we use a lot of Sign Language at home as well. And it's amazing. Like my wife, really, mashallah, she's an amazing woman. Like, you know, she mainly uses British Sign Language, but because she lived in Saudi and because she's got such she's got friends from so many different places here in this country as well. Like she can like translate a menu in Arabic into Arabic Sign Language, and she can translate a menu in English into Arabic Sign Language. It's crazy. Like it's not even just translating between two spoken languages. There's translating between different spoken languages is sign languages is. So yeah, interesting stuff. Maybe if any of you know anyone who knows Arabic Sign Language, maybe we'll get someone on the channel one day and we'll do some Arabic Sign Language together. That'd be quite nice. So I'll get my wife to teach me some, and we'll do a bonus video one Saturday or something, and we'll talk about Arabic Sign Language. It might be quite interesting. Cool. What do we have next? Number 13. We're getting to the end of them now. So we have this verb, the verb qubida. Qubida. When I learned the verb qubida, I was even taught to consider the verb qubida as not even a verb without its preposition, without the preposition ala with it. To do qubida ala means to kind of to be caught or to catch. I think to be caught, really. If someone is qubida ala, then he's caught. And I remember learning it. I remember my teacher sort of saying, don't even just remember qubida. Don't even remember it. It's a passive verb in itself, but don't even remember it. Like only learn it with the preposition ala, because you won't hear it spoken. It's not like other of these verbs, like the verb takallama. You hear without its preposition a lot of the time. Do you know what I mean? Even just saying, you know, أختي تتكلم الفرنسية or whatever. Like my sister speaks French. You know, you don't always have to be speaking about something, but that's a difference with Somali as well, actually. To just speak a language, you do need a preposition, you need a ku in there. You'd say, you know, afka Somali go on ku hadli kara. Like I can speak Somali. I'd say ku hadli. But yeah. Anyways, so next, okay, these last two. In our live Q&A yesterday, this topic came up, so I wanted to include these two as well. So there's a lot of confusion, especially around people who are learning Aramiya, about with the term ba'id and qarib, whether you use min or an with them. Because in Aramiya you can use min with either. You can say ana ba'id minhu or ana qarib minhu, like I'm close to it or I'm far from it. But really in Fusha, the verb ba'id and any word from that, derived from it, like the verb ibta'ada, for example, to be far from something, you should use an. So ba'id an, qarib min. That's the way around that we should do it, right? So other verbs that come from ba'id, like I say, ibta'ada, you use an. I don't know if it sometimes adds the confusion that there are kind of synonyms to ibta'ada which do use min, like ijtanaba. There's an ayah in Surah Al-Hujurat when Allah says, ijtanibu kathiran min al-dhann. It says like stay away min al-dhann from assumptions. From dhann, it's part of the religion in Islam that we stay away from making assumptions about people. It's part of the etiquette of the mu'min that we ijtanibu min al-dhann. Ijtanibu kathiran min al-dhann, I think it even is. It's not even just ijtanibu, it's ijtanibu kathiran min al-dhann. It's like really, it's serious business to stay away from dhann. Yeah, it's not just ijtanibu. But ijtanibu is the same as saying ibta'idu. But you'd say ijtanibu min, but you'd say ibta'idu an. That's the difference. And then with qarib, there's the verb iqtaraba and the verb taqarraba as well. And taqaraba. Those are all verbs, but they all obviously come from the term meaning to be close to something. Qarib is close, aqrab is the closest, and you always use those with min. You or li, actually. I mean, there are times in the Quran when Allah says, uses the root qaf, ra and ba with li sometimes. اقترب للناس حسابهم وهم في غفلة معرضون, or something like that. I don't know if that's the exact wording, but there's definitely like اقترب للناس. Something comes closer to the people. I suppose you'd use that if it's to do with movement, but if it's to do with actually just being far from something already, it's just how in English we say I'm close to. We don't really do that in English, do we? But anyway, so قريب من بعيد عن is the point. So there's 15 verbs. We went through that nice and quickly. No point in dilly-dallying. As well, if you ever want to get through my podcasts quicker, because sometimes I like to just chat to you guys a little bit and I just get into whatever we're doing. On most podcast platforms, you can just speed up. You can just speed it up. If you want to listen to one of my podcasts in like 1.5 speed, then obviously you can do that. When I'm listening to podcasts, I accidentally did that the other day. And I thought that these people were deliberately uploading their podcasts like twice as fast. I didn't know. I thought it was like a podcast hack. Like you got more downloads if they were shorter or something. But it's a good job I worked it out before I started uploading my podcasts at double speed. Anyways, so what announcements do we have? We have absolutely none. The only announcement that I want to give to you guys is keep in touch, keep learning Arabic. That's the most important thing. And I suppose if you need any help, just get in touch with me, inshallah. And that's it. I will actually, whilst I've got you guys on the podcast here, Wednesdays, Instagram Live. Any questions at all about what I've talked about in the podcast or anything? Instagram Live on Wednesdays. I would very much like it if you guys would go over and follow me on Instagram if you're listening to this, because the numbers don't really matter to me so much, but I think it helps my mum to not be so disappointed that I haven't got a real job. So I'd appreciate that, inshallah. Obviously, it helps me out if we have bigger numbers. I don't have any intention to have like serious sponsors or anything. That's not why I'd want the numbers. Unless there's someone out there who has a coffee company who would be interested in giving me coffee. Because in the live stream yesterday, we worked out that it would work very nicely if we would have a Arabica with Sam, like Arabica coffee. That'd be a good way for me to get a good coffee sponsor, because I put away a good 8 cups of coffee a day, I'd say. I'd say it's the root cause of my lack of sleep. This week is a usual week coming up, inshallah. This week, tomorrow, we'll have a talk through. We're doing Safari Dubai. We're doing a little video about a safari in Dubai. Then Wednesday is another hadith video, which will be walking through the Arabic language of a hadith. Thursday will be grammar time. We're only going to do another 2 episodes of grammar time after this week, inshallah. So come along if you want to make some little tweaks to your grammar. And that'll take us up to pretty much the end of the week. And then I'll update you guys then at the end of grammar time. So that's it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, those of you guys on YouTube. Don't forget to stay in touch, those of you on the podcast. And catch you guys in the next one. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Good work, YouTube. Thanks very much for your patience. I know this is long videos on YouTube, aren't they? But we kept that under 20 minutes, that episode. Podcast 21. Allahu Akbar. If you have ideas for what you'd like me to cover in further podcasts, please just stick them in the comments below or email me, inshallah. I'm always looking for new ideas. Always want to listen to you guys and see actually what you want out of life and what you would like me to cover for you in Arabic. So that's it, guys. Make sure you come back tomorrow for an episode of Talk Through if you're interested in speaking and listening for Arabic. And if you're interested in reading and writing, come by on Wednesday. We'll be doing another walkthrough of the hadith. And that's it. Let's put this video to bed. See you guys for the rest of the week. Assalamu alaikum.